XDefiant doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, but what it does have is much more sinister. And I'm not talking about input-based matchmaking. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and lately the game's been in a dark place. It just feels like I've been playing on easy mode this whole time. Then after the new Season 1 update, they switched it to Halo's Legendary mode. So I started doing some digging, trying to find answers to what could be going on, and I don't think it's just one single issue. I think there's a lot that plays into this. And I want you to know that if you're experiencing this too after the update, you're not alone, and it's not a skill issue, so don't let the trolls annoy you with that nonsense. The game is broken right now for a lot of people. It's not affecting everyone, it seems, and it's not isolated to any one platform. It just seems random. But what might be even more interesting is in all of that investigating and digging and comment replying, I stumbled across something else entirely that explains a few other things that I've been saying to myself for about a week now. And if this is true, it could just ruin this game. Before I go into that, if you enjoy this type of content, I'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button and also follow me on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Link for that in the description as well. But anyway, the dark figure lurking in the shadows that everyone thought was skill-based matchmaking turns out might just be EOMM, or engagement optimized matchmaking. And if you do enough research into this, you'll find that skill-based matchmaking is a small component of EOMM. And if you watch all of these interviews and responses and tweet replies where the game developers and executives are saying that there's no skill-based matchmaking, they all start to sound and look the same, almost like their lawyers and PR team have trained them on how to say it, so that if they ever get exposed for having something like EOMM in their game, they have some fallback plan, some plausible deniability, if you will. So this video isn't to go over and tell you that I know for sure that EOMM is in XDefiant, or to go over everything that is involved with EOMM. This is to tell you what I've experienced and explain why I think EOMM might be in this game, and to hear your feedback and see if you've seen some strange coincidences like these as well. So the biggest piece of evidence I've found of possible EOMM in XDefiant is the Founders Pack. Let me explain. Some of you may have seen my previous video going over the Founders Pack and if it's worth it or not for you to buy it, and then my follow-up video to that with me buying the Ultimate Founders Pack. Well, ever since that day that I bought that Founders Pack and I put on that fancy new gold player card, every game I load into, and this is not just an over-exaggeration, literally every single game that I play has at least one or two people in that game with the same player card. Like they also bought the Founders Pack. And that wasn't happening before I bought it. And I know you might start saying, Knight, that's just a coincidence. You're just noticing it more now because you have it. And I'm sure there's a term for what exactly that is. In fact, a few years ago, I got a Kia Stinger because it was something that was kind of new, and being into cars, I wanted to push the platform and see what it could do. Never before seen one on the road before though. Then the day I pick it up, on the way home, I see the very first one. And then day after day, I start slowly seeing them crop up. And I'm not a trendsetter, so it's not like I posted my new car on Instagram or something and everybody flocked to buy one. While that whole scenario may just be one big coincidence, the one in XDefiant is not. And I tested this by playing a couple games on my alternate test account, the very same one I used to expose the people who exploit the game by leaving early before they lose, so it's not actually counting as a loss, so they can pad their win-loss ratio stat in-game and on the leaderboards on tracker.gg. And every game I played, there were 0 people with any level Founders Pack player card. None. 0. Zilch. Nada. Then something else you might notice is that if you load into a game, you'll start seeing similar levels to what your level is. And to clarify, I'm only talking about the unranked game mode, since ranked we know has skill-based matchmaking, and it has to. It's not some sort of gotcha or smoking gun. We all know ranked has skill-based matchmaking, and if it didn't, it would be a much worse place than it already is. But I'm level 106 on my main account, and I play games, and I see players between around level 70 and 140. Sometimes even slightly higher up, as more people start to level up, which is natural. I played today with a couple friends that are level 15 or lower, and we immediately start getting into games with lower level players, and I end up being the highest level by a pretty wide margin. You ever just be in the middle of a game and see your team has a level 30, and then notice the other team has a level 30 or 32 or something like that? You think that's a coincidence? And you might try to big brain it and say, well, yeah, they already said that once the lobbies are formed, they balance them by skill rating and level. But go a little bit further. Jimmy Neutron big brain this. What are the odds that they just found two level 30 to 32 players and brought them both into the same lobby and then split them up on different teams? And it goes on and on. Usually both teams are pretty balanced in terms of level. One team has a level 106, the other team's going to have a pretty close level. And then when I play by myself, I start seeing all of these suspicious low-level accounts that I didn't start seeing until just recently. Kind of makes me wonder that if these aren't cheaters who were already banned coming back on new accounts, because when you check them out and look at their player profile card, they always seem to be on PC. If this turns out to be true in the midst of all the issues the game is having right now, the future of this game could be very grim. In fact, a lot of players have already left or uninstalled. Don't believe me? Check out this clip as I back out of this ongoing game that I loaded into, and then queue up for another zone control game and get put into the exact same game. And I even get to keep the same stats I left with before. Something like that would have never happened a week ago. But that's all I have for now. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced any of this, or if I need to put my tinfoil hat on and go hide in a lead-lined basement. But I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.